A's Extra.
Welcome back to the Anglers Extra pregame show. It's time for the manager show prior to Brewster and Chatham here at Stony Brook Field. I'm Josh Schaefer, joined by Anglers manager Tom Holliday, and today we're going to talk about lineup cards. Coach, you typically write a lot of different quotes or messages on your lineup card, and today was a quote from the legendary hockey coach Herb Brooks.
Really?
See, I was talking with the guys before the game, and I said that Tom might write down this quote, not realize it was Herb Brooks. But you could also be messing with me, and I just don't understand.
Which one?
You said,
I don't know, which one?
You said you said hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And then you wrote, "Who are you?" What inspired you to write that on the lineup card today?
Well, Kathy was sitting there, and she reads this book that has a lot of sayings in it, and I ask her every day to let me have a couple to kind of wakes me up. It makes me get in the game frame of mind, because a lot of times when you're in college, it kind of gets you up. Up here, it's like you might spend the morning talking to an agent or talking to your general manager or somebody, but your mind's not on the game that day. So when she gives me those things, it kind of gets me into it, and I like it when I can share it with the players, because if somebody else said that, great, more power to him, because I liked it. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't write it down, and players like to read them, and sometimes you need a message to be reminded that you could be in Yemen right now carrying a machine gun, or you could be like unemployed. I mean, this isn't everyday baseball is not the worst thing in the world. And, I just like him to understand how much of an honor and pleasure it is to be able to play baseball for a living.
Well, so now the secret behind all of the Tom Holliday sayings on the lineup card is his wife, Kathy. So, Mrs. Holliday, thank you, because it gives us, something to look forward to every day when we come to the ballpark, other than talking with you and calling baseball, of course.
Absolutely.
Another quote you had on there, speaking of messages, said, "A message can be sent by either a text or an inside fastball." What was the ideology behind that quote?
Well, I'll tell you this. In baseball, people refer to the unwritten rules of baseball, and I've been told by several people that have heard me make mention of that why don't you just write that book? And then you couldn't use that word. So, a lot of times in baseball, teams get away with murder by sending messages, stealing a base, up 7 runs, 8 runs in the 9th inning. That's in a day, that's a fight starter. That's how people exchange balls in on hitters, and sends a message. We saw what you did, and a lot of times those messages wake up a team. I think it's a time of the summer right now where the intensity is going to get bigger. We haven't played all summer just to have a record. Now we're here to win it. And I want our guys to start bringing that serious mindset to the field. And, if somebody a month ago did something that was embarrassing to you, carry that attitude at the beginning of a game. Why wait for somebody to steal the base when it's 9-0 to get agitated? Go to the field agitated. What's wrong with, walking in the dugout and you can't wait to play because of something that agitates you? So I kind of write things down, because I don't want to agitate them. I want to like them. I mean, I want to coach them. I want them to play for me. But a lot of times, finding an emotion that makes you a better player, I don't know if it's an art. I don't know if coaches are the only ones that try to do it. I mean, I think every now and then, even in a good job, you'd want somebody to fire you up and make you work harder. So, I don't know, maybe if that makes sense to you, but that's an irritant when somebody throws one in on you, hits your 4-hole hitter, or a guy hits a home run and he pimps it, and then the next guy wears one in the ribs. Well, the next guy shouldn't be the guy, but the guy on the mound might not be there the next time that guy hits. You see it in the big leagues every now and then, because they quit doing it, and now they suspend guys for doing it. But this is an old game. The game of baseball is an old game. Emotions get struck in funny ways, and I like to have them play with that kind of edge right from the beginning of the game.
Well, Coach, something else that has been irritating a little bit, especially over the course of the past few days, has been the weather. 2 days that, if you look at the schedule, they're off days because 2 games never happened. But your squad still shows up to the ballpark, still goes through their pregame routine, and then even takes the field, only to not play 2 baseball games against YD last night and Orleans 2 nights ago. How does that affect your squad moving forward and then into today's game, which is ultimately a 3rd consecutive game against Brewster?
Yeah, no kidding. Last 2 nights have been funny nights, and last night, I really wanted to play last night. I mean, I'd have held them as long as I could. The night before, you played 2.5 innings, and you feel like kicking yourself because we burned an arm. Well, burning an arm right now is not a factor. Last night, going through pregame and then having it fogged out, rained out, not a bad time. I mean, a day off really isn't all that bad. And now we lost a day off, okay? So we come back after the All-Star break, which is a whooping 24 hours for 7 guys and 48 for the others. Now we don't have another day off the rest of the year. And that's just the way it is. I mean, if that's the way they want it, that's the way we're going to play it. And, if we limp through the playoffs, then we'll limp through the playoffs. But I'm kind of glad we got a day to, we just took BP last night and had a great dinner as a team and left. You go home at 7:30 last night, 8 o'clock, and you just kind of lay around and just do whatever you do. So not a bad deal, not a bad time, and I would think that today we should play good today.
I heard you took an entire chicken pot pie all for yourself. Is that correct?
It was offered by Abigail, and I took it, and my wife and I had a little bit of it, and it's still in the refrigerator, and those pies are really good.
So there's leftovers.
They're really good, and reminds me of the pie my mom used to make. So, there's enough in there. Maybe tonight tonight's lobster night.
Tonight's lobster, clam bake back for the team at Veterans Field.
And I don't know how many guys in summer baseball can go home from a road trip and have lobster and clams, and this team will do that tonight. And tomorrow night, I think, is a special night, and I think Monday we're going to have steaks, courtesy of a good friend of mine. And,
wow.
And I mean, our kids, they don't need to worry about losing weight. They're fed well, and we're down to it right now. But it's good food and energy. It makes good baseball. So I did. I took a pie home and sitting in the refrigerator, most of it, but I don't think it'll be there much longer.
Well, I don't think so
either. It's a pot pie.
Exactly. It's a chicken pot pie.
It's a dinner pie.
Yes. Well, Coach, enjoy the leftovers. Enjoy the good weather that we finally have here in Brewster, and good luck today against the Whitecaps.
Absolutely. You bet.
We'll hand things back over to Cooper Boardman for more. I think he had some of that pie last night, too. Let's hear about it as the A's Extra pregame show continues.